Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I feel like I'm a repeated record lately. Sorry I'm late. I've been dragging. If anybody knows, I got to go work. Thoughts on making sure you go work out in the first thing in the morning, how you do that, feel free to send me a note. But today I want to talk about, because we're a little bit later than normal. We're usually like an hour and a half ago, I would have done this show. Not now. It's almost 9 o'clock. Anyway, on the topic, resumes, putting your tasks in there versus just your wins or your accomplishments. And I was listening again, this is off that podcast from the other day. I had read a lot of content thoughts on what they were saying at the Bob and Josh on Metacast in their podcast. And then they were debating whether or not resumes should have tasks and stuff like that. I want to go into all that because they're really high up, they're experts. I'm not even, I'm not in their realm where I can go and knock on some door and get a job probably or something like that, get paid to speak. I'm more on the normal person, the normal area of the world for now. But how do you do that as somebody who's into the Scrum or Agile world? I'm going to talk about what the resume should include and things like that. So this is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. So you can bring value to your customer, not work crazy hours, and have a little fun along the way. And one of the other reasons why I brought this up, I wasn't sure I was going to do something else. But last night I did not do the jobs report because President Trump was on everywhere. And it didn't make sense to go do it. I'm like, 8 o'clock. I said, that's when I do my show. Oh. And I was sitting there. I'm like, this ain't going to end. I don't know how long he talked for, maybe an hour. I don't know. Kind of fell asleep, but it is what it is. So I'll do that tonight. I'll broadcast the jobs report tonight. The thing about the resume, they were debating, because they meet people, they read resumes and stuff, and they kind of poo-pooed the idea of putting tasks, what you do as a Scrum Master or product owner, an Agile coach in your resume. And the one comment, I don't know which one it was, but they were more like, I want to see more accomplishments. What did you do? How did you transform stuff? And it's great. So I'm going to talk about the positive and negatives of that concept. One, if you're a normal person like me or you, most people who listen to the show, you got to get past the recruiters. And the recruiters don't really know a thing about Agile. All they see is on their position, and the engines, by the way, these little AI engines now that will look at this position description, look for the keywords, and there's even software that you can, which I recommend, that there is out there. You take the job posting, you highlight the text, then it scans your resume and tells you how well you met up with those text requirements. So you have the AI and you have the recruiters looking at your resume. If you do not list the things you did from a normal task perspective, if you look at these resumes in your resume, you're not going to get past that first level a lot of times. And especially when you're doing a first time junior position, which sucks, but that's the way of the beast, right? So you have to play this game. So you have to balance how long your resume and content you put in, covering the items in the job posting, as well as talking about your accomplishments. So if you just talked about your accomplishments, I don't know whether or not you're going to meet all the tasks that are written in a position description, right? I don't know. It's a delicate balance. So here's what I want to propose. Well, here's the other thing. So do we just put in the tasks? My answer is no. You should have something to see that says wins or accomplishments, things you did. Now there's a way to do it. Like in my resume, let's say I could write a story about one of my daily Scrum. I'm actually going to do the scenario, and then you can think about how you might formulate that in writing your resume, and it'll be a daily Scrum scenario, because I have other ones, but I just want to keep it one short and sweet. So then you can do your accomplishments, which you should have some kind of win or accomplishments highlighted for each job. Why did you do? Why did you bring value? You need that. See, but you got to balance that all in like a 2-page resume. If you're like myself, I have troubles with the 2-page resume because I've been out there for 30 some odd years. And then, where'd you work? I said, well, because I'm older. It dropped off the resume. I try to keep it in, but sometimes you can't have everything in your resume. And they go, why is there a gap? Because I'm old. So you have to balance that. And then if you just did accomplishments, like there's that extreme, right? If you did the accomplishments only, you wouldn't have the task and then you wouldn't pass. So you got to have the task to pass the AI and the recruiters who don't know really anything about what it's reading. You have to have the accomplishments for when you meet in front of the senior people so that when they evaluate, they kind of see what you did and ask you questions about that because they're looking for questions to ask. And then you kind of really want to be in the middle. You want to be a hybrid, have some tasks, some accomplishment. So I want to provide this as a thought process to what, and you're going to have to adjust the way you want. So in this case, I can talk about a daily scrum. So one of my key things I mentioned, daily scrum. Boom, boom, hit the thing. I create a daily scrum environment where in one case the team mentioned a bug, and by them being in the room the way I crafted the daily scrum, they were able to talk about it and realize that they were both working on the same problem from two different angles. And then I got them together post daily scrum and they solved it within a half hour of them talking while they were working on it for 3 days straight. To me, that's an accomplishment from the daily scrum. Go from two individuals working individually for 3 days straight to the two coming together during daily scrum and solving the problem, or at least knowing what to do to solve the problem within about 30 minutes after the meeting. That's an example of a story. Now, how would you do that? Now, you could write something. I wrote a win, helped the team during daily scrum solve something that we're working on for 3 days and 30 minutes because they talked during, I wrote it up and I have a more succinct thing. But I have different kind of things and different types of, whether it be sprint planning, whether it be refinement, whether it be any one of those in my different jobs that I achieve these little goals. Now, what you could do if you don't have enough room, have them available on a sheet. Write some scenarios on a piece of paper where you did these accomplishments, how you applied the Scrum roles, Scrum events, Scrum whatever, or Kanban or XP or whatever you're working in, those techniques, and sign an example. Write them down on a piece of paper. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to come up with memory. So a good practice is write some of these down just so you have a list. Kind of look at some of the different thoughts. So depending on how the interview goes, you can pick what you want to supply. If they're interested in more retros, pull a retro one. If they're interested more in sprint planning, just pull that. If they're looking at for safe type activities and PI planning kind of things, pull something from that and have those available that you looked at so you're not spending a lot of time trying to recall what you have. Have a couple samples from every event, every role. Actually, I think that's it's not a bad idea. Have a couple samples for different roles, different events, different thought processes, how you applied the Scrum guide to solve a problem and what was the outcome that you consider a win or accomplishment. It helps. It'll help you prepared and feel comfortable during the interview. So I thought I would share that with you today because I am going to do the jobs report show tonight because I didn't do it last night. I got all the data. It's interesting. It did spike up, by the way, so it'll be interesting to see the results. But that is something you might want to do for preparing for job interviews, resume writing, and things like that. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope that helps. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback on that concept. If you ever done something like that before, that'd be awesome. And I want to wish you a great day and happy scrumming. And good luck on the resumes. Good luck on the job hunt. And take care. Bye. And see ya.